What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Short-Sided Golf Show, now brought to you by Breakfast Ball Design, which is an online shop with clothing, prints, and other cool related golf gear. Also, they just released some PJ Tour jerseys so you can support your favorite player at the bar, on the couch, or at the event whenever we're allowed back. They have some awesome designs, and we know we'll be rocking the jersey tees all season long, so since they support us, definitely click on the link in the description and support them. On this episode, we're talking everything BMW Championship, from the course to the stats to that awesome finish. It was a great week in Chi-Town, so let's get started. All right, Shilsey, let's get into the past week. That was the BMW Championship in Chi-Town. Olympia Fields, I don't think disappointed. That was, I think everyone knew it was going to be a tough track, a cool track to watch, and I think it just exceeded expectations in terms of how well it played.
Yeah, it was a stark difference to TBC Boston, where DJ won by 30 under, won by 11. But it was just like, it was firm, fast, tight fairways. It was a lot of fun to watch, like see guys playing U.S. Open course, not designed by the the USGA, which was great. I know Rory had a comment that the USGA should be taking notes by the Western Golf Association, because it seemed like it was hard, it was firm, it was fast, and the rough was high, and no one complained. Right? Not a single
Right.
golfer came out in any press conference and said, "This was terrible. We've lost the golf course." Any comments like that were like nowhere to be found. Everyone was just like, "Cool. That was hard and fair, and we had a legit
Right.
championship." Now, is this something that like should be every single week on the PGA Tour? I think, guys won't be playing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. But to have
Right.
that once a month or once every 6 weeks was a ton of fun to watch.
Agreed. And I think that's the thing is TPC Boston, you need courses like that where it was fun to watch. It was kind of a like we said last week, it was an Arnold Palmer course. It was a little bit different, and guys went low. DJ shot 30 under, and you kind of need those courses in there. You can't have every week where it's an Olympia Fields and it's this tough test. You need some give and take there. So I don't think it's something like you said all every week, but definitely having that thrown in. I really wasn't expecting that. I thought it maybe. I mean, I knew it was going to be playing tough just because it's a U.S. Open track, but I thought guys would be, 11, 12 under. I wasn't expecting that, but it was a hell of a lot of fun to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about like just the courses they pick for the tour is, for me, when I'm watching, I want to be able to say like, that would be really cool to play. And when
Right.
I watch the 3M, when I watch TPC Boston, the Northern Trust, like I'm just like, cool, great. That's like wispy eye stuff, and DJ
Hmm.
shot 30 under. But like when I watch Olympia Fields, it's a classic design, really cool green complexes, stuff like that. I was like, I may shoot 120, but like that would be sick to play. And
Right.
that's one of the biggest things about just watching it on television, and the presentation that's behind it, is like you'd
Mhm.
want to, even though you get your ass kicked, like you'd want to play it, and that was fun to watch those guys play it.
For sure, and we always say with the Honda too, even that puts out a good tournament every year, but it's like I have no desire to play that golf course. Like I have no desire to play the Bear Trap. It looks like it weaves in and out of a housing complex. Doesn't look fun to play at all. And then you contrast that with Olympia Fields, where it's like I could play that course every single day of my life and love it.
Right.
And yeah, all those, and it's fun to see guys who are completely baffled with it, who don't play it all the time. They don't play it year in and year out, and it was fun. At least Thursday and Friday, guys just couldn't figure it out. They didn't know where to land balls on the greens. They were landing it, and it was rolling off the back. At least Tigers were, but um, it was fun to see guys actually struggle on a course that isn't an Aaron Hills. It isn't 8,100 yards. It's just hard because it's a well designed golf course. That's bottom line.
Yeah. Of one guy that played, who would you say you were like most shocked that they played so well at Olympia Fields?
I I'm not sure. I guess Neiman, I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't really. That's one guy that I've always been a little high on, and just every week, maybe I take him and he doesn't really, flesh out. So that's probably the most surprise. Plus, I feel like he chunks every shot. I'm still in that like mindset with him. Is every shot he hits, I think he chunks it because of his swing, and he hits it flush every time. But every time I'm like, oh, he chunked it, and it's like, no, no, actually that's 10 feet. But yeah, I would say Neiman, and then obviously Matsuyama, he can turn it on at any time. But I was surprised to see him up there. I just wasn't expecting him to have such a good week. But how about
Yeah,
you?
I would have bet anything that Hideki was gonna fade on Sunday.
Hmm.
I mean, and he was all over the planet off the tee, and he kept on making every 9 to 15 footer for par, and stayed in it. I mean, Hideki had a great week, I thought. But I mean, the one guy that like even looking forward to this week that like could just spoil Pontevedra's FedEx Cup and handing out all the money, like Brandon Todd, a par
Ooh,
70 at
yeah,
7,400 yards. He finished one over T8, and just looking at it,
yeah,
like he should be nowhere there. And like he played awesome. He played all. Even Jason Kokrak finished even par. He shot 4 under on Sunday, and
yeah.
again, it was a little gettable on Sunday, like more than the last 3 days, which was kind of disappointing. But just because we wanted to see like really really hard golf and see how the guys fared. But those two guys, that was awesome to see.
Yeah, Brandon Todd keeps putting out week in and week out, and this was, I feel like you were kind of getting at where last week it was a gettable golf course, and obviously he puts lights out and hits the ball dead straight, so he's good at a course like that. And then probably saw the writing on the walls this week, thinking, all right, this is tough. You really have to hit it a long way. You have to land balls into the green coming in high. You can't be hitting long, really long irons into the greens. And then he goes out and finishes T8 top 10. It's like, yeah, I guess this guy's not going away. Like he's here to stay at least for the end of this year and making a run. But um, I love Brendan Todd. I was riding him all the way through the PGA, so I'd love to see him make some noise next week.
Yeah, Todd is let's see. Todd's starting 3 shots or 3 under par, so he's starting 7 shots back at DJ this weekend. So maybe something happens. We'll never know.
He
We'll
can
see.
do it.
I
You
think
never
so.
know with DJ. He's he's a volatile dude. I know you wanted to start talking about the trees as well at Olympia. Had a little tree trouble on 18 with DJ, where he got a lucky bounce, even though he didn't end up winning, but he got a lucky bounce out into the middle of the fairway. But it was definitely an interesting course with uh, you know all the trees on the grounds, and then they also had some lateral hazard areas where guys were on 14 guys were hitting into there all week off the tee, that par five. So it was definitely an interesting track all the way around.
Yeah, the trees off of 15, I want to
Is
say.
15 the par five?
Yeah, I think so. Let me pull it up. 15, I'm almost positive was the par 5. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah, 15. You're
15
right.
was the par
That's
5.
that's the one I was thinking of. Yep.
I mean, it was crazy because I mean, Adam Scott was making a run even though he couldn't make a single putt all freaking weekend. He should have won that event by 6
Mhm.
strokes. Um, but he went right into the trees and it gobbled it up, and he had a punch out on 15. And then Rahm hit in the same spot, bounced right in the middle of, or not in the middle of the fairway, but went out to the rough. Neiman
Yep.
hit to the trees as well, and that one was way right off the planet and came back to the middle. And then DJ on 18 in the playoff went way left, trying to cut the corner over the tree, hit the tree like a rocket, and then bounded right into the middle of the fairway. So it was crazy. I mean, they definitely had a hand in swinging the tournament and who won. Um,
Mhm.
but it was crazy to see. I mean, I think shot of the tournament. I know, aside from the 2 putts that we saw in 18, was definitely Rahm's
Mhm.
approach into 18 after it hit the tree. I mean, he had like 239,
Yep.
and put it to 8 feet, and that really swung everything. That shot was unbelievable.
And I mean, even DJ shot into 18 from the trees. He was in the rough, and he ended up making a 45 footer or 50 footer. But he hit right at the pin from those right trees, because he was not, when they hit it, he hit it into the right rough on 18. It was like, he's probably done. He has to hit it over the bunker. He has a little bit of a backstop. And then, I mean, another interesting one, there were so many crazy swings from in this tournament, but it was Rahm not marking his ball, which we have to cover. That was a wild, like, everyone was just looking at him like, what are you doing? It's crazy how Rahm got into a playoff, and luckily he won. But I mean, if he didn't come away with that victory, that would have been one for the ages. That's insane. I've never seen somebody do that, I don't think.
I know. It's like I get it. He was I mean, Saturday shot 66, lowest round to that point of the tournament, and then Sunday shot 64. I mean, that's the definition of being in the zone. But I mean,
Hmm.
I played thousands of rounds of golf. I know you have too. I'm sure John Ron's played
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of rounds of golf. Like he's probably never
Hmm.
done that before.
Right.
But that's like the true definition of his brain was not even anywhere comprehending anything, and he just fixed the divot and picked up the ball.
I think you're kind of right though. It should have been it just showed what type of autopilot he was on. That should have been a sign right there, like throw your bank account on Rom. Because when a guy's I guess that's the only way only thing you could chalk it up to is just he was in the zone that much. I think that kind of makes sense. He was just in the zone. He picked up his ball.
At
I mean,
that
if it was
point,
DJ, it would have been he's an idiot. But
at
since
that
it's
point,
Rom, he was just in the zone.
at that point in the tournament, before the penalty, going into that hole, he was 120 to 1. He made that bogey there on, I think that was the sixth hole, and then I think he birdied 7. I'm almost positive. Let's see. Hold on a second. I think he birdied. No, that was the fifth hole. He made bogey there and then birdied the eighth. Once he birdied the eighth, he went down to 66 to 1.
Hmm.
And from
Wow,
there, he didn't make another bogey for the rest of the weekend.
that's insane on a course like that too.
Yeah.
I was bummed. I played that golf course a long time ago. I really didn't remember any of the holes. I remembered 16 was pretty memorable. I remember 15, the par five, because Tiger hit that insane cut in
Right.
'03 around it. So I remember talking about that. But other than that, I didn't remember. It probably changed a little bit too. But I do remember the halfway house. I saw that. I remember I scuffed my Adidas on those steps, brand new. So I had some PTSD as Tiger was going into 10 while I was watching the live stream. But um, now it was a treat. Those courses to watch, and I think that's why I really do enjoy the FedEx Cup playoffs. They play these courses that we don't get to see a lot. Even Cog Hill, they played that a lot in the past, but seeing places like Cog Hill, or they played Plainfield or Ridgewood, or these classic Northeast courses that are so fun to watch, and the design is so good. So it's always fun to see these FedEx Cup playoff courses that they choose, because I think they're just second to none in terms of these big boy golf courses.
Yeah, I think, I mean, of any of them, the BMW always has a great track. Like
And around
Northern,
Mink, speaking of BMW, that's
yeah,
another one.
yeah. I mean, it always goes to a really, really cool course that like doesn't get on the PGA Tour rotation very, very often.
Right.
But it's always one that everyone loves. So I think the BMW, I'll claim it as my favorite playoff event because it's always good.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially after this week. That was a show out performance. And then I guess getting down to the end on Sunday, two big things. First one we'll get into is Mackenzie Hughes, which was like the most clutch up and down in the history of golf. And maybe the worst second shot, the most unclutch second shot in the history of golf, which was just, I think he had maybe 150 to 160 and just completely flubbed a wedge and said he misjudged the wind, which is complete lie. But
No, no.
uh,
I mean, if anything, it just shows that he knew exactly what was on the line, and pressure got to him, and it was. I mean, it was great to see him get up and down, but the pressure was there. The pressure was real. I mean, the benefit of getting into the top 30 is you make it into every major, including the Masters, which is great. And they must have said that 50,000 times on the telecast, but like for a guy like Mackenzie Hughes, that's awesome. And I think the minimum payout, even if you come 30th in the Tour Championship, is like 400 grand. So, I mean, that's sick.
Crazy.
So, that was a $400,000 putt.
One thing I do enjoy about the FedEx Cup, which is kind of a small takeaway from it, is I do enjoy the bubble watch of the top, at least the top 30. I think going into last week, it was a little less going into the top 70, but definitely the top 30, it was with every putt, it would update. And even though Tiger wasn't close by the end of the week, but when he was in the early stages of his round, they were saying what he has to do to get into the top 30 and how uh, Billy Horschel, he was affected and stuff. So I think they did a good job. Maybe they didn't do a good job, but I do think that's a benefit of the FedEx Cup. I really enjoy the like the jostling for position getting into the Tour Championship. I think that's a little added bonus that I think makes it really exciting. And then to have Mackenzie Hughes need that putt, I mean that's the cherry on top for it.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with it is like going into the week, I think it was like there were only 7 guys that had a chance of dropping out of the top 30 and then getting into the top 30. So, I mean, I wish there was
Mhm.
a little more volatility, but at the end of the day, it was cool to see.
That would be for our changes to the FedEx Cup pod coming up
Yes,
for sure.
that will be another thing which will get released at a later date.
And then we have to finish up on the putts in the finale, which again, two probably of the two best playoff finishes, at least in my memory. Besides, maybe you could say, I guess Sergio Ricky at the Players. That was kind of the greatest playoff finish, if I can remember. Go back to Valhalla with Bob May and Tiger, but I'm probably missing a few in there, but these two playoff finishes with no fans have to be one of my biggest disappointment of coronavirus this far. It's just unbelievable that these two finishes took place with no fans. But um, even though there were a few socially distant fans on 18 at Olympia Fields, the membership they kind of started going nuts a little bit, which was nice to
There were a lot of
hear.
people getting rowdy.
Yeah,
Especially
hear a roar.
I think it was like the 5th hole or the 6th hole. Every time someone hit a shot, there was definitely some people out there.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I guess they have members out there.
more than ever in this tournament, there were, uh, like, people were walking around behind the greens, and,
Hmm.
like, I know Rory did it a couple times, Neiman did it a couple times, like, telling people to stop walking around.
Yeah, I
That
know there were a few weird interactions where they'd be like, "Can you move?" Like I think Bubba yelled at a guy. I was watching his one of his putts, and I think they should do a like the club championship where they allow all the carts out to follow them, and they just
yeah,
give members all the carts, and you got that'd be a fun
that'd be sick.
like 60 golf carts out following Tiger.
That'd be sick.
But yeah, it's cool to watch because it feels like you're watching like a section or like a local AM event where there are some people out there, but they're obviously just members. Because I'd be in the same boat if I'm a member at Olympia Fields and I'm like 60 years old. You're not telling me I can't come in and watch this golf tournament. I'm
Right.
just gonna be like, "Yep, I'm in." Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, Mr. Smith, can you not? It's like, probably worth a couple million. So yeah, go screw yourself. I'm gonna watch Tiger. So it was cool seeing some of the guys out there, and it seemed like some people it was like a la the PGA Championship where they were outside of the gates on one of the tee boxes where they were getting rowdy. But um, there are definitely a lot of people besides the volunteers walking around.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to playoffs, I think the one that comes to mind that was could possibly even remotely one up this one, which I don't think it does. I think this was the best. I mean, there was a 45-foot putt that was impossible to hit. I mean,
Hmm.
all this the data golf stuff says it was a 3% chance to hit for DJ to even make that putt. Was 3%. I mean, it was like 1% or point 0.1 of 1%. Um,
Right.
but the only one that comes to mind is the Northern Trust with DJ and Spieth at the playoff where DJ drove it over the lake.
Oh,
That
that's
was
true.
sick.
Yep.
That was a total just alpha move, power move from DJ, and then he did it again, and then Rahm went up to him with a 65-footer, 70-footer, the exact same
That was
thing. Um,
And that was a tough putt because Neiman just had that putt like 10 minutes earlier when he came through, and he left it like 20 feet short. And they were
yeah,
saying like this is such a hard putt because you have to get it to that hill, and then just to have him drop it and It's cool to see. I mean, DJ had a DJ reaction. It was cool to actually see a fist pump. I wasn't even expecting even a poor fist pump. But to see Rahm just lose his mind, I mean, I would expect that with fans, but to see him lose it with no fans around or anything like that, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I was hoping DJ would make it, and he almost did actually. It looked, I mean, it was short all the way, but at the end, he definitely, I mean, it got closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It was, I mean, if you're talking about ratings and appeal to people who love golf and anything like that, that was the that was the best finish that could have possibly happened.
Yep.
One quick cool stat that Kyle Porter from CBS tweeted out today. Since the end of June, the only golfer to beat DJ, JT, Rahm, and Morikawa in an event in which at least one of them was entered was Michael Thompson in the 3M.
Wow.
DJ at the Travelers, Morikawa and JT went head-to-head at Workday, Rahm won the Memorial. DJ withdrew from the 3M, which Michael Thompson won. JT won
Mhm.
Memphis, Morikawa won the PGA, DJ won Boston, and then DJ and Rahm were 1-2 at the BMW at Olympia Fields this past weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a stat. And now maybe B Todd in the at Eastlake to
Brendan
dethrone him
Todd
once again.
or Webb, you never know.
I like Webb
I
taking
guess
the
I just
week off.
yeah, I
Bold
guess
move.
last thing we'll cover is just Webb not showing up.
Right. I mean, I guess it's a bad look. I mean, I understand it from his perspective, I guess, but kind of just a bad look for the FedEx Cup. But I always like these things because I think that uh, an occurrence like this makes them just revamp the system and take a look at the system and be like, what can we change? So
But they
hopefully a
won't.
good change will come from it.
No,
But
I think it's so stupid. I mean, that would be like if in the first round or second round of the playoffs, LeBron was like, you know what, I'm not going to play.
right,
And then if the Lakers lose the series, it's like, no, 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 we advanced. LeBron wasn't playing. It's okay. We're good enough.
right.
I think if you're in the playoffs, you should have to play.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If it's the playoffs, yeah, you made it to the next round, you have to play. And did he make room? He didn't make room for another guy in that field, correct? Because the field's already set.
Yeah, they teed off with 69 players instead of
That's
70.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Because if you finish on that bubble and you finish 71st, and then Webb's just like, I'll sit out and just sit at 5 under next week or whatever he is now. He probably didn't fall too much in the standings. It's like,
he
okay,
fell. I think he fell 2 spots, which at the end of the day
oh
was like
wow,
two. It's like 2 strokes when it comes to the tour championship.
right, which is yeah,
It's
which
absolute
makes
bullshit.
sense if you yeah if you don't want to if you know you're going to get your butt kicked out there and you just think all right I'm gonna take my 2 shots which I'll probably lose anyway because I feel like I'm gonna play poorly, so I'll take my 2 shots and you know show up next week at Eastlake. Yeah, I don't like that. It shows a huge flaw in the actual format of the FedEx Cup, I think.
Gives you a lot more respect for Leishman, who shot 80, 78, 79, 73, 30 over
I know
par.
that I love seeing that because I always think, what would I shoot in like a 4 round? And this would be at like a local like Muni course, but it's like that would be my scorecard. It's like it's tough to see a plus 30, but man, that guy is really
He's searching.
has no business to be in the spot he is right now because he's playing like dog shit.
Yeah, but he went out there, he played, and it was what it
Right.
was, and Webb cowered away in fear.
Yeah, classic Webb. Because him, yeah, he probably feels like, hey, I probably won't even win at Eastlake. Like maybe I will, and maybe I'll take it home. But for him, it's just cash a check next week, and I don't know. I feel like some of these guys get a little too comfortable, and that's exactly what happened with Webb.
Yep. 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 Yep.
All right, well, I think that's enough for the recap. Definitely tune into our next episode. We're gonna be releasing them daily. We're gonna record them and then just release an episode every day. So definitely stay tuned for that and subscribe if you feel like it. And sounds good.
Cool. See you
Peace.
later, JB.